I've got a video to show, and it's a YouTube video. And because of copyright, I'm not going to be able to record that. So we need to take care of all of our business, our show and tell and everything before I start the video. And once I start the video, I'm going to stop the recording. So
Okay.
anyway.
Sounds like a plan to us.
All right.
Okay, well, welcome to the January MCSC meeting. Do we have any guests? Everybody looks like they've been on before.
Yeah, it looks like the usual crowd.
Okay. Okay, Skip, are you making a list of who is on the screen?
I've just recorded the number of people, but I'll make a list of the people.
Okay, Richard can't make it, and we normally have our swearing in January, but most of the officers have already been sworn in, so we'll just postpone it to February unless there's any objections.
Fine with me.
Okay. I guess we're now ready for officer reports for the president. The president's not here, so we'll go on to the treasurer.
And I forgot to get the exact amount, but we've got like $16,000 to start the year off with.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't get it to go down, guys. You got to help me here.
Yeah.
If we're not spending money on committee meetings and things like
No,
that.
we're not spending money on anything.
Yeah. Except your Zoom expenses there. You should be getting checked.
Well, speaking of spending money, does the center charge us for not being there?
No, if we don't hold a meeting, they don't charge us.
Oh, okay.
That's a good thing.
Well, I guess that's an extra, what, $100 a month? What are we paying anyway? I forgot.
About 700 and something a year.
So 60 some bucks a month.
Yeah, it's very little. I mean,
Judy, is that no outstanding debt?
yes, we don't owe anybody anything.
And have we made a payment to the Civic Center for next year?
No, I haven't done that yet.
And how much is that again? 25 or so?
It's like $786 or something like that a year.
No, I mean the
You mean the Grapevine Convention Center?
Oh, the Grapevine. Oh, that one's 4,000. Oh, come on, you're putting me on the spot. It's about 4,500 a year, and we haven't paid the January. They haven't sent us a statement for January here yet. So yeah, that would be the only outstanding debt we would have right now is paying half of the convention center in Grapevine.
Wow, 4,500. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I only pay half of that in January, and then I pay the other half in November.
Okay. Secretary.
Yes. I received 2 more dues checks today. And as of a few minutes ago, we have 46 members that have renewed. And 2 people that have told me they intend to renew, 3 people that have told me they intend to renew. One who said that he mailed me a check in early December, but I didn't receive it, or I have no record of receiving it. And he said the check has not cleared his bank. So he's going to send another one.
Well,
Okay.
the Postal Service is really slow right now. I mean, it's taken like 5 weeks for letters to go to Europe. It's taken, weeks just around, the US. So
Well,
we
I've
gotta be
I've gotten most of the dues in looking at the postmarks. I've gotten them in due account, but I asked him if he had perhaps sent it to the mailbox, and he didn't remember or didn't know. I assume if he used the form in the newsletter, it has my address on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll
Well,
check with Rick to see if he is.
Yeah, I was gonna say Stan and I will be seeing Rick next Wednesday, and we'll go by it and check the post office at that time and see what's there.
Just to confirm the US mail problems, yesterday I received a letter from Virginia, which was actually postmarked 18th of December.
Right, and today I got my Lynn's, which was mailed on November 30th. November 30th. It arrived today.
Oh, God.
Well, took us a month to get a package to Taiwan for our grandson. So.
Yeah, so,
And I
and packed-
and
and
it
it sat in Chicago for 2 weeks.
yeah, and it took 3 weeks for a priority mail envelope, flat rate, to go from Dallas to Seattle. Now, first it left here, and 1 day later it made it to Memphis. Now, think about that. Memphis is like 800 miles east of here versus Seattle, which is 1,600 miles northwest of here. So
Yes.
why it went to Seattle, I mean, to Memphis, where it then had no tracking, no nothing for like 10 days before it finally magically appeared in Seattle. So it may have gone by truck, perhaps, from here to Memphis. Why Memphis? I don't know. And then all of a sudden it went to Seattle. You'd think it'd go on a straight flight from here to Seattle, right? I mean, American has multiple flights a day and with mail on it, I'm sure. But, you know, it's pretty sad.
Is that UPS? Was that FedEx or UPS?
That was USPS flat rate priority mail envelope.
Pony Express was quicker.
yes.
Yeah.
It all depends on where you're mailing from, because we mailed a package to Fresno, California, priority mail, and it made it in a week. And on the same day, my daughter in Fresno mailed a package to us, and it was priority, and it arrived in 2 days.
Oh, jeez.
Mailed it on a Monday, we got it Wednesday. We mailed ours on the same Monday to her, and she got it just before Christmas, the next week.
And I mailed a bunch of Christmas cards to people in Europe, mostly Switzerland and Germany. I think one went to Portugal, and it took. I mean, I mailed them around. I don't remember. I have the calendar handy, but it was like early December, so like maybe the 6th of December thereabouts. And a few I think arrived on the before the 24th or on the 24th, and a couple arrived after the New Year's. So, you know, go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other officer reports? Silence, okay.
Reconvene
Committee
tonight.
reports.
Let us remember, in the end,
John, you got a radio on or something?
accomplished is to delay our.
Got a TV on, that's why I'm muted.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to say, hey.
Hey, John.
Greetings to all of you all. Thanks for everything in the previous year. Looking forward to a good one this year.
All right, same here. I think we
Really.
all are.
Are you snowed in up there in Connecticut or Vermont or wherever?
No, we had 14 inches about 2 weeks ago, but it's nice now.
By a group of thugs.
Good.
Yep.
Democracy will try.
Stamp sales.
As it has.
Skipper,
What?
stamp
Oh,
sales.
stamp sales. I'm sorry. We got an APS circuit. I got it the day after Christmas. I hadn't thought to tell them not to send one because didn't think we would have an in-person meeting, but so far there's been 3 people, Dave Stockbridge, Ken Aldridge, and Ralph Poor, who have expressed an interest in looking at some of the books. And I'm working with them to get those books to them for their review.
Hey, Skip, a question on those. I know I saw that U.S. revenues were part of the books you have. Now, I don't really have that much of an interest in U.S. revenues, but does the APS have a worldwide revenues category for sales books?
I don't believe so. They send a sheet with all the categories on the back, and you have to circle the category and put down a priority number. The priority numbers don't seem to matter because they send one of each category. Typically they say 8, you can up to 18. I put in 14 categories, I think.
Well, if you see
And,
worldwide revenues, you know, or something like that, I mean, I'd love to look at them. Of course, I'm over here in Northeast Dallas area, so.
Well, I could meet you somewhere halfway between maybe. But
Yeah.
Uh,
I think eventually we'll be able to get back to the conventions, the community center. So, okay. Anything else, Skip?
No, not in sales anyway.
Okay. Expo. I have no information from Ralph about the expo or the upcoming expo meeting. So we can just move right on through that one. Newsletter.
Well, I could, let me see here. So here you're seeing my next newsletter in the works. An article I started right here about recycling. Let me see if I guess I have to use my mouse. So this is what I've gotten so far. There's Rick Howell's article. There's one I wrote about Milano. Another one from Rick Howell, another one about public transportation, hood ornaments. I'm writing one on Padua. Again, all been there, done that. A comic strip. Ken Aldrich sent an article in about stamp trading, and well, some blank stuff here coming up. Another one about been there, done that, and the back page. So basically, I'm at about 12 pages this month.
Looks
Now,
good.
let's see here. How do I unshare?
How did you share?
I don't know. I
But-
clicked the share button at the bottom, and now I see share at the top.
Okay,
It
hit
says
that one.
new share.
Just hit that green button, I guess.
You must
Well,
have.
then
the
it just comes up with another screen to share, so I'm not sure what.
Well,
I'll stop you.
you got the same
Okay.
gremlin we got.
There we go.
Hey, all right.
All right, we're back. So anyway, that's the preview of the newsletter. If you could read it all very quickly, then you don't have to worry about it. But
Okay. All right. And Jim's not on, so we can move to the webpage. Any other committee report? Okay, show and tell. I'm going to try to do a show and tell here.
well, just hold it in front of the camera
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me see here.
Yeah, there you go.
Or you can do a share screen.
and hold it steadily.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Okay, my goodness, it's backwards.
Looks like a highway post office cover or something.
Yeah,
That's all I could.
Well, come on. Okay, there we go. This is
Okay.
my find for the month. It's a single-use 4.5 cent stamp
Ooh,
on an envelope, and it also turned out to be a highway postage.
Wow.
And it was a inaugural trip from San Francisco to, let's see, Pacific Grove, California. But what I really caught my eye, and unfortunately, I'm too bad for going backwards here, but is the date of the cancel. And that happens to be my birthday, August the 4th, 1941. Is the day I was born. And I said, oh, okay. So I had to have this one, and I bought it.
Absolutely.
And okay. This is a cachet cover, and I had one, and Planty said that that's the guy that does all the cataloging for First Day Covers. But he said that the one of the things that was unique about this set of covers was that the collectors' names were different and put on the upper left-hand corner. So I found one several years ago, and then I found this one this month. And lo and behold, he's right. They do have different names. So now I'm going to keep my eye out and see if I can get a third one. Okay. Let's see. I guess we'll just start up in the left-hand corner. Rick?
Well, I did find something. I'll show you guys, I guess. I can get this thing to work. That's not it. There we go. Upside down, but that's okay. This is I'm a collector of perfins and pre-cancels. And this one got me confused because it's both.
Perf and a pre-cancel?
They're called
Yeah.
pre-perfs. They're called
Pre-perf?
pre-perfs, and it happens occasionally, but they're extremely unusual. They're not rare, they're just unusual. So maybe I got something new to collect. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got about 3 or 4 of them on the 4.5 cent stamp.
Oh, do you?
They are. I consider them to be the smallest subset of the 4.5 cent stamp. So,
Absolutely.
and Ralph is an expert on perfins, so he'll be able to tell you what the perfin is that's on the back.
Okay. All right, but that's all I've got. So let me see if I can stop screen sharing here. If I can figure out how to do that.
You have to unshare yourself.
No, that disappeared on me now.
Well, it's nice to know we're not all in the, but that we all are in the same boat having problems.
Okay, who's next?
Okay, hang on.
I've got something to offer if you like.
Okay.
Okay. When some time ago, I showed this. I wrote a little article about this that Peter published, but it didn't come out very clearly. And so I thought that if you were able to see this more clearly, then you can see what I did. The problem with this Japan issue, which went on from 1913 to 1933, is that they had an old die and a new die, and the difference between them was 0.5 millimeter. And if you ever tried measuring things like that to 0.5 millimeter, you find it very difficult. And so what I did was to take a stamp that was of no value and cut across it. And then what I could do then, you see, was to you can lay it on top of a stamp you're trying to identify and very clearly see the difference on the edge.
Are you going to share your screen there?
Oh, I'm sorry. Haven't done that.
Go.
There we go. Okay, so you see, I've pretty much matched up the left edge, and then the right edge. You can see the difference, and that in fact is just 0.5 millimeter difference there. So rather than do that, and similarly, when I'm measuring perforations, I get one that I know. Instead of using a perforation gauge, I'll use the stamp that I know the perforation size of and offer it up edge to edge with the stamp that I'm trying to identify. And obviously, if they match, they're the same. And if not, then, well, you take it from there.
The APS is currently running an article about the 1 cent Franklins, and they do something similar to that to demonstrate the size difference in the rotary press and flat press printings.
Oh yeah.
It worked out real well. There's a really good article on the APS website about that.
Second thing I have to show you is what I put together for Mother's Day. Can you see this? Let's pull it down a bit.
Not yet.
Hasn't changed yet.
We're still seeing the
not showing.
other stamp.
Well, I don't know why that is. Try a new share. That is not coming through.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is.
Now we got
Love
it.
stamps.
Love
Right.
stamps.
Right.
Cute.
So I made a little mother's card using this.
Aw, how sweet.
You're a big softy, Ken.
I know. And then the third thing I was going to show you is this, and I don't suppose it's going to be I don't suppose I'm going to get much help from you here. Can you see this Indian type stamp?
Yes.
Okay, I cannot identify it.
Oh gosh.
You expect us to?
you can see there's a date up here, and I've forgotten my Arabic numerals now, but that's something like 1922 or something. But anyhow, I've searched all the way through Scott, and not that Scott's always a very good help, but I'm just stumped on this one. And if anyone has any insight, I'd be glad to hear it.
Well, it may also not be a postage stamp, but a revenue stamp, or some item like that.
It's possible, but that does look like a postmark. So,
Do you have this, Ken?
pardon?
Do you have this book?
No, I don't.
it's in the back, it's got a lot of the stamps like that that are not easily recognizable.
Well, the regular catalog has that, doesn't it? But maybe this has more.
Yeah, it does. If
Uh-huh.
if you send me a copy, I'll look it up.
Oh, great. Well, thank you, Ken. I'll do that. Okay.
All right, Jim?
Taylor?
Jim
Yes,
Taylor?
yeah.
Yeah, you got anything?
About 3 weeks ago, I guess, at the last coin show that was at Grapevine Convention Center, one of the dealers had, I don't know if it'll ever show up, but it's postage stamps, but this one has Indian head pennies down the side of it. The postage stamps are related to westward movement. The large one is not a postage stamp. The others are genuine, but they're appear to be glued down. I just thought it was, I joined both stamp and coin collecting. They had, plus I got this one, has the Indian chasing the buffalo. And it has Indian head nickels on it, the buffalo nickels. And of course, none of them are valuable either. They're all worn out. But and nothing on here is of any value. It's just, I thought it was a unique thing and hanging on my wall.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Jim. Skipper,
Yes, sir.
you got anything?
I don't have a show, but I will do a tell.
All right.
And that is around Thanksgiving. I started working on my Australian collection, and with the goal of producing some starter sets for Expo, because those were the people that I gave them to at Expo for some other countries that I had created. They seemed to be popular. And according to APS, Australia is one of the top 10 sellers they had last year from their stamp store. And I kind of like Australia. It's aside from the Australian states, they didn't start their stamps until 1913 or so. So there's only a few of the kangaroo and map stamps that are really out of sight. Well, and some of the King George ones too. But for the most part, you can put together a pretty nice Australian collection with a lot of the stamps. And I was going pretty good, categorizing them, cleaning them up, sorting them, getting ready then to put them into the things. When going through some of the boxes that I have up in the storage unit, I discovered a whole nother box. We're talking a banker box full of Australian stamps.
Oh,
So I have essentially since shortly before Christmas, working furiously to try and resort through these. Unfortunately, most of them are on paper, which complicates things a little bit, but I'm almost back to the point where I can start producing, selecting a half a dozen stamps of each of the ones that I have a lot of to put together the starter sets. So that's what I've been doing the past 6
Just
weeks.
throw them all in the bathtub and have a mass soak.
Yeah.
Skip, if you
Yes,
take a look at my website, kenwills.net, you'll see
Right.
that I have a section in there called wholesale, which is where I have large quantities. And you'll see a whole list of Australian Scott numbers where I'll give you 10 of each that you wish for. So just let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ken?
Aldridge?
Okay, in the newsletter coming up, I wrote an article about some buy and sell sites on for stamps on Facebook, and I just wanted to mention that in the last couple of weeks, I spotted a guy from Mansfield and another guy from Midlothian. So I sent text messages to them, and they well, what are the dues? And they expressed a little interest. I don't know how far it's going to go, but at least I contacted them. So maybe we'll get a couple new members. I don't know. But the other thing I've got is I don't know where this stuff, we're all like this. Suddenly you find something and wonder, where did I get that and when did I get it? So I'm going to try to show this. Oh, it's not going to work very well. Sorry. I don't think.
Remember, it's backwards.
Yeah, well.
Left
I
is
don't
right
know.
and right is left.
Yeah, well, see, there's a dog on there. And I don't know where this, like I say, where I got this cover, but I recognize the sender was from Herman Hurst Jr. And that rang a bell with me.
Uh-oh.
And so I looked it up, and it's Herman, AKA Pat
Pat
Hurst.
Hurst.
And he was a writer of philatelic literature and of history of the hobby. He was a stamp dealer and auctioneer, beginning his career on Nassau Street in New York City. He moved to Shrub Oak, New York in 1946. This cover is postmarked Shrub Oak. You can see it or not.
Well, it's probably his local post stamps that he used a lot. I mean,
It could be, and I don't know who, but the dog that's a little stamp. And what it says that this dog is Alfie, the Shrub Oak Post Office's number one carrier. It's in a 2-cent local franked stamp. So, this rings a bell. I think I read an article several years ago about this dog. Does anybody remember that? And maybe in Lincoln's or?
There was a dog about the Postal Service had a dog, but his name was
No, that was
Oni.
Oni. Yeah.
Oni.
yeah.
I've seen him twice at the National Postal Museum.
So anyway, it was unusual. I'm going to put it on eBay for about $2,000.
Okay.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, there's also the inverted Jenny sheet for $5.4 million on eBay right now, reduced from 6 million. And the only reason is, I mean, it's the inverted one. It's not even the correct one, the uninverted one, the $12 sheet. And it's because the guy says, "Ooh, there's some red ink smudge marks on the corners of some of the design elements." I said, "Well, I have like 20 of those. I'd love to get 5 million for each of those." I'm upset because it's actually pretty crappy printing quality on behalf of the Postal Service.
Ken,
Good
if
luck
you
to the guy.
get a chance to read any of Herman Hurst books, he wrote one called Nassau Street that is amazing. It's a great book. And he talks about some of the dealers there in New York, and he's a humorous guy. He adds a lot of fun to his stamp collecting. So if you ever get a chance to read any of his books, I would highly recommend it. They're very good.
Does the club library have those
I
books?
don't know.
I mean, I personally have them in my own library, but
Hmm.
or at least a couple of them.
Well, we can take a look and see.
Well,
Okay.
somewhere along the line, somebody had published a list of all the books and catalogs that we had in the library, but that was
Yeah.
years ago that I even published something like that. But
Yeah, it's in the handbook.
oh, okay.
Okay, Gene?
Yeah, I think.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything.
Gene has left the
Okay.
building.
Let's.
No, I'm here. I was trying to look for something. Help me out because I don't remember who sent it to me on an envelope which was sent to a last name Fletchner.
That was me. I sent those to you.
Okay. And I did some checking on it, and now I'm trying to get in touch with the daughter on the East Coast to see, what the history is.
Oh, okay.
So they, he's deceased,
That's right.
but the daughter is still alive, and I'm trying to contact her, and we'll get in touch with her and get an answer from her, or at least get some communication going with her about the Fretchner history on her part.
Well, what I was doing with that, Gene, is I'm taking a look at some of the temporary bases that were created in Texas during World War II. There was quite a few of them that were Army airfields that were created here in Texas, and some other Army bases as well. And I just happened across those two envelopes that had the name Frechner on the back of it. So
Yeah.
I thought you might like to see those.
That
I'm glad
was
it's
really
piquing your
interesting,
interest a little bit.
it really helped me kind of get going, start going maybe on looking at a little bit of history, because my own family has no history of anybody coming over here except for myself.
Oh, wow.
Nobody
Wow.
previously that my dad knew.
So maybe
And-
I've opened up a whole new can of worms for you.
Well, you never know. Maybe those worms will produce some connection.
I'll send you those two covers.
Okay, appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, thanks, Gene. Chuck?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, Dave?
Yeah, I've got something. A good friend that works with me in the food ministry, where we provide food for needy people from 3 pantries, gave me an album, a childhood album he had. And you probably aren't going to be able to read it very well. It's a worldwide junior stamp album, which I had not seen this particular album before. I've seen a lot of them and I've had a lot of them given. This is going to be donated to the club. The particular issue I have here was copyrighted in 1937. Some interesting things in it is that it says that it holds stamps for 228 countries, and it lists all those countries that are there. And something I found kind of unique is it basically takes a country, shows a few stamps, and then has a blank page on the right in which you put stamps for that. Now, this album contains got to be 200, 300, or 400 stamps in it. And many of the pages have multiple countries on it. You can see here, here's actually 4 countries on this. We're in the beginning of the book with Allenstein, Andorra, Antigua, and the like. And if you get into it, you can see there are stamps that have been mounted. Now, most of them are used. The unfortunate thing, Skip, and this, you'll see this and you're going to get it, is that I haven't yet been able to determine what he used to attach those stamps, because they're not hinges and they don't come off with a slight pull. They're going to have to be soaked, which means you got to take the book apart or give the book to somebody the way it is. And many times the things you find in one of these old collections, which my friend tells me he did this when he was a youth, is that here is a personal thing that the fella created when he was a kid, and it says wanted stamps. And it's a picture of it's a drawing of some stamp. And he said, to trade. Now that's TADE, trade. And in it, he's got the names of all of the countries that he's written that he wants stamps from, which I thought was kind of humorous and interesting. And other things found in there is little packets that comes from Kresge's. You may remember that chain.
Yeah.
But it was a chain, as well as coupons from the two-door packets, where there were several of these where he obtained stamps, in this case from Mongolia, New Zealand. And another interesting thing I found is a notebook where he had notes, and this is by Red Goose Shoes, is the notebook that he had in there, which used to be a common thing to have notebooks, and he's got stamps in there. They're all stuck. But, and he had a whole accumulation of bank slips in which he's got them named by country, and each bank slip contains stamps of a particular country, but he must have been able to pick these up free from the lobby of a bank from Toledo, Ohio.
Hey,
And
Dave,
yeah,
have you tried this?
no, I haven't. The last thing I found was a packet that he bought entitled Warring Nations. And it's an accumulation of stamps in here, mostly all stuck together. So, but it's always fun looking at what people had in their albums. But I looked through it, and most of the stamps in it, of course, are just penny stamps, very common, with a few from many, many countries. And Skip, I hope you can use it somehow in the club's beginner area.
Yeah, I had one that sounds similar to that where the stamps were glued. Some kind of glue was used to attach them. And I cut the pages up and soaked them, and I was able to get a few of them off, but the bulk of them, it just wasn't possible. I didn't cut up the whole album. I just started with a few. And so, but they, again, with common stamps, I decided it really wasn't worth doing too much. So maybe what we'll do with this one is just put it out with the stamps in there and see what happens from there.
Dave, one thing that you can do if you don't want to cut the pages to remove the stamps is simply use a jet of steam. If you get a kettle and get a little spout from the kettle and aim it at the stamp, that will quite often enable you to detach it.
Spoken like a true tea drinker.
Thank you, but I'm not going to do that for a couple or 300 stamps. And I'm lazy. Thanks.
Okay, well, thanks, Dave. Sal, you have anything?
He's muted.
Oh, he's muted?
Yeah.
Okay. John?
He's
Yes, you have anything for show and tell?
I don't have anything for a show, but I would like to tell the club that we did distribute from the family over 80 of our philatelic related holiday packets. And it's important to me because this coming 2021 Christmas is going to be chronicling our ties to Texas. And I think Rick has already given me a pointer into how to begin to accumulate the items that we normally use. But if any of you all have any experience with using philatelic themes for your holiday greetings, I'd love to get an email from you. And I'd be happy to share with you an example of how we put together this year's package, which was based on our ties with South Carolina and was the result of my membership in the Columbia, South Carolina philatelic group. But it was very successful, and I'd really like any feedback from any of y'all who have used philatelic themes in past years for your holiday greetings.
And John's packet is available for download on our Facebook page if you guys want to take a look at it.
And also, I will tell you that if any of you really are interested in seeing how we've been doing this, it's hard to imagine how fast the years passed by. We started this when we came to Connecticut because a stamp dealer I worked with had done it. I found a cover of his philatelic related going back to 1960, which to me was a pretty early start on philatelic holiday greetings, but we've been doing it for over 27 years. And this year I got a bunch of feedback from people who've told me that we used to work with and everything, that they'd kept every one of them because it was such an interesting idea to use philatelic themes with a Christmas greeting. So with Texas coming up in 2021, I'd love to hear any feedback, and I'll get an email and an example of how we put this year's together out to you.
Okay, we appreciate it too, John. Peter.
A couple of quick items, since it's kind of in line with Ken's thing about local post stamps. Let me if I can get this thing. this is the local post stamp that I created that I use every on just about on the back flap of almost every envelope I send out. This is my Murphy local post because my business mailing address is in Murphy. And since, well, instead of putting some cent amount on it, it's just no sense, nonsense, whatever you want to call it. I use a fake element called unobtainium, which if you're a car guy, you know exactly what that means. You know, you can't get the part, therefore it's unobtainium. So anyway, I thought I'd show that off. Now, what you're looking at here is actually, I've used 2 of these already, obviously, but this little sheetlet of 10 was actual stamp stock that Pitney Bowes used for the mail and go stamps at the 8 kiosks in the Dallas area trials that were held from 2011 to 13. So I've managed to procure some of the empty sheet stock, which is, you know, the standard die cut and self adhesive stamps. And I just created a template in Microsoft Publisher, and then I just put, you know, 10 of the same or different ones on here and make my own, you know, stamps, so to speak, you know, local post. Because it's really hard to find any sort of either self-adhesive or lick and stick item that is either perforated or die cut to mimic a stamp in look. I mean, they just don't make that anymore. So this is actually kind of really nice. And I have a bunch of these sheets left. So anyway, I thought I'd show that. And then Ken, this is for you. You might recognize this. This is the this is the Christmas card you sent me. And you see what it says? Return for postage. And then somebody crossed it out at the post office and pointed to the stamp. And then I got it delivered anyway.
I'm the
So,
one who crossed it out. It was returned to me.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. All right. I
Yeah,
wasn't,
yeah.
I can't tell who did that, but.
So I crossed out return for postage and I pointed to it and with an arrow, and I put it back in the outgoing mailbox, and then it reached you.
Apparently so, yes. And I received it on December 29th. I don't know when you mailed it, but
I got one too.
yeah.
Same happened to Ken Aldridge, I know.
But,
Exactly.
okay, well, I received it on the 29th. So when did you send it?
I would say probably about the 10th.
What? It took 19 days? Well, okay, I guess that's a round trip back to your house, but.
When mail is returned to sender, that usually takes a couple of weeks in my experience.
Oh, okay.
I sent out, I think, about 100. Well, I bought a pack of 100 of those stamps and I used them all.
Yeah, I still have some left, but I didn't use any this year because it's really a pain to get those things, you know, get the backing paper off.
It really is. Yes.
Well, you know, the trick to that is on the back side, or, you know, diagonally across whatever corner you want, take an X-Acto knife and score yourself a little diagonal, maybe half-inch diagonal across the bottom. Not enough to cut the stamp on the other side, but to score it, so then you can very easily peel off the little corner, and then you can easily peel off the whole backing paper.
That is exactly what I did 100 times.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. So I'm not gonna go there. Now I also went.
I have a suggestion for you, Peter.
I had I think 3 returned, the same as yours and Ken's. So it's a coincidence that we're all here together.
Looky here.
Yeah. but I also used them for international mail, and I had obviously I added to make the postage 120, $1.20. I put stamps in the space that's available on the top left, and still had room to write the name and address. And I had about 10 of those returned because some of the supplementary stamps that I used were the H stamps, you know, that were in use when there was a domestic postal rate change. And they said, these stamps are not valid for international use.
Oh, really?
What you might do with those, Peter, is send a copy of it to Tony Walrukiewicz at the Auxiliary Marking Club. It might end up in one of his books.
Okay, well, anyway, I was going through some old stuff, and I found this piece of mail that I received back in 2012. And it came from, if I remember right, oops, upside down, everything's backwards when you do this in front of the camera. I think it was, yeah, Italy. So this actually came from the Cultural Center blind, Loris Fogli in wherever Italy. But I'm not sure if I talked or wrote it up at one point. It was stuck in my pile of old covers that I received in the mail, but it's kind of interesting, that it's marked articles for the blind. I have still to figure out what CISOgram means there on the left of the image. I'll have to look that up. I did Google mailing, was it mailing matter for the blind or whatever? So the Postal Service does say you can, if you're blind, I guess, or deemed blind, you can mail articles for free. I guess you just have to put free or blind or something at the corner, whatever the verbiage is. This was a little bit more nice, I guess. The guy made up a big rubber stamp for it. So, and he had asked me for some free stamps that I was giving away at the time to mail him, I guess, to his daughter or something like that. So it's kind of a neat little postal history item, and of course it did get mailed because you see the postnet code at the bottom. So thought that was neat. And now don't panic, but I got a Swedish bomb in the mail a couple days ago. There it is, the Schweden Bomben. They're from Austria. So apparently that's a confectionery item or a little cake or something like that. That's just the first time I've seen the word bomb used on a stamp in my recollection. And if you're into the penguins of Madagascar, they have a puzzle shaped piece from that they're using as well. I don't know why she put it, the sender put it upside down, but I was trading some stamps with this lady in Austria, which I heard of because, what's our doctor there, our chemist doctor?
Barrett.
Barrett, yeah, who asked me to translate some stuff for him because he had a communication issue with this lady in Austria. And because I'm actually speaking in German natively, he asked me to help out. But then I asked her, by the way, and then she sent me some ATM stamps in the mail. So, all's good. And for now, that's it.
All right. Okay. Any other business? Okay. One thing I do want to mention is the ULIS meeting. Since we've got almost all the attendees on Zoom, I'm going to assume that everybody's in favor of postponing the ULIS meeting.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, if we can just, can we have a separate meeting? Just have another Zoom meeting so we have a meeting every 2 weeks instead of every 4 weeks, or?
I'll leave it up to the guys here, Rick.
I don't have a problem with that if your wife will let you there, Peter.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice to do it at some time other than 7 p.m., so.
Well, although I attend the ULIS meeting and not the Arlington meeting, I think while we can't meet in person, there are not many of us who gather together in ULIS, and I think we might just skip it until we can actually physically meet together.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Ken.
Yes.
Or we could hold an informal Zoom meeting, just get together and shoot the bull, and
Yeah.
do it at 6 o'clock instead of 7 or whatever,
All right. Well,
why don't we give it a try? We'll try.
All right. I'll contact Evan and let him know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stanley, we will have a Granbury meeting on the 26th of January. That is a Tuesday. That's the 4th Tuesday of the month.
Right.
It'll be at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. What I would like to do for a program this month, and this will be in the announcement, Rick will send out the announcement or Skip will pass it on, will be a short up to 5 minutes by each person or each participant on what I collect. And that's where you share with us what it is you collect, but we're going to keep it. Nobody's going to be allowed to go over 5 minutes.
I can't do that.
Pare down your subjects.
Well, you have
I
from
couldn't
now
do it
until
either.
26 to pare it down or eliminate those from your collection.
Still a
Thanks for the
Zoom
warning,
meeting, right?
Rick. Now we got time to figure that out.
What's the date?
26.
Rick?
26. It's the 4th Tuesday, Jim.
At a Zoom screen near you.
Yeah, it'll be a Zoom meeting, which we will continue to do for the Granbury meetings, at least through April.
Okay, and the ULIS meeting will be the third Wednesday. I don't
Okay.
have a calendar in front of me, but
Okay. We'll send out an email or something on
Yeah.
the ULIS meeting, figure
Okay.
out what we're gonna do.
All right, well, I tell you what, I guess it's time to move on to the program there, Rick.
Okay, Cy, did you have anything that you wanted to show and tell? or-
Oh,
Actually, I did. I thought I'd share.
okay, I'm sorry, they told me
Press
you
up.
were muted.
I was, but it's okay. I actually wanted to show you guys these stamps that I picked up on when I was in Thailand for a trip. I don't know if I can show you these. Yeah, okay. I think this is there's 4 different ones. There's a gold stamp, there's silver, there's blue, and then there's green. These were called the world's first Thai silk stamps.
Oh,
They were released in 2010, just ahead of the 25th Asian International Stamp Exhibition that was held in Bangkok. And for that, they tried to kind of also use it as an occasion to promote Thai silk, which along with Chinese silk is one of the big sort of, Thailand is one of the big silk producers in the world. And what they did was they took permission from the royal queen to use the peacock symbol. It's called a royal peacock symbol, and they use it and show it on every authentic silk product that is made in Thailand.
wow.
So they were, I mean, so I was in Chiang Mai, which is a small city, sort of a town up in northern Thailand. And it so happened that there was a post office like less than a 5-minute walk from where I was staying. So I just walked in. I was like, what sort of stamps do you have? And I just wanted to buy them.
Wow.
So they showed me these along with a bunch of others that I bought, but I thought these were cool. So I kind of picked these souvenir sheets and they're not canceled or anything. So I just thought I'd share them with you.
How big are those stamps, Si?
So these are souvenir sheets with 4 stamps on each one. And just for size, that's like a hand. So they're probably about 1.5 inches across and probably 2 inches long.
Okay.
And they have these little ovals in the middle. And that's basically supposed to be silk. And they've sort of embossed it into the paper.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Cy.
Yeah. Si, are you Thai?
I'm sorry?
Are you Thai?
I'm not Thai, I'm Indian.
Okay.
But I've tried to travel as much as I can whenever I had a break. So
Okay, because I've been to Chiang Mai and I spent a year in Utapao, which is just outside Saudi, and they're along by the Gulf of Siam. Chiang Mai was a beautiful city. I've seen it's 50 years ago it was a beautiful city. Now it's just an urban mess. But
I can imagine, yeah. But when you compare Chiang Mai to Bangkok, it's still a nice city, and we really enjoyed, going to the night markets there, me and my wife. So it was a good trip. I mean, I had a month, and I tried to go to Vietnam for a week, Cambodia for a week, and then Thailand for a week. So, but yeah. And then everywhere I went to a post office and picked up as many stamps as I could. So
good for you. Yeah. Well, thank you, Si.
Thank you.
Okay, Rick, I guess we're ready for the program now.
Yeah, I'll give you a little forward into this. Let me do a stop on